what's up guys? We're the Gould Brothers, and in this episode we're going to give you a little inside look into a big part of what we do, and that's live exhibition shooting shows.
Steve and I have been doing trick shots since 2007. In 2009 we were inspired by a man named Tom Knapp, and our dream to entertain and inspire people through live exhibition shows was born.
Now I think it's funny because as we travel around, or people, just a common question you get is, what do you do for a living? We say, well, we put on live exhibition shooting shows or trick shooting shows, and what do we often get?
Blank stares.
They have no idea what that means. So they say, elaborate or tell us what that means. Why don't you go ahead and give the folks just a little background to what a live trick shooting show is?
Well, a live trick shooting show has Steve and I mic'd up. We're doing all kinds of crazy shots, and there's a little banter back and forth, a little brotherly love, or sometimes lack thereof, but it's just an all-around entertainment show.
You guys ready to have some fun? Yeah! Are you ready to have some fun? I'm ready to have fun. Let's do it.
And people that have seen our videos and then came to a live show, I've never heard anyone say that the videos are better than the live show. The live show is what people really, really like.
And that's interesting. I find that super interesting because, to be frank, we can pull off some stuff in video that we're not going to do in a live show. Big difference is there's this little magic button on a camera that allows you to record and stop, record and stop. And I'm guessing you guys can figure this out, but that doesn't happen in live shows.
Sometimes I wish it did.
Sometimes you're wishing, can we just cut and start from the top on this one? But you're live, so that kind of brings up a question. What's one of the most difficult parts of performing live, say versus, doing trick shots on a video?
Well, you touched on it, Steve, is that there's no rewind or do-over. What kind of our philosophy is before a shot gets into the live show, you got to do it 7 to 9 times out of 10. And if you can't do it then it doesn't go in the show. But performing live, sometimes things don't go as planned. And so we usually do, if we miss a shot, we'll do it about 3 times. If it doesn't happen, well, then sometimes it happens.
Then we cut our losses and move on, and we have a good laugh. I think for me, one of the most difficult things to learn, and over what we've been doing this for 8 years, we've been doing live shows now, is that no matter how poor you feel you're performing shot-wise, we're here to entertain. So number one, we want to make sure our shows are always safe. Safety is, of course, our top priority. I think that goes without saying. But 2, we're there to entertain. And we want to see smiles, we want to see laughs, we want to hear clapping, because we're there to entertain. Right?
And we're our hardest critics as well. So if we've dropped a shot in the show, maybe we're thinking about it. But if we're having fun between you and I, the audience is having fun.
What's one of your favorite things about performing live?
Well, just seeing how people react. Every crowd is a little different. You have the quiet crowds, you have crowds that people are screaming and hollering. Well, we were doing this show just the other day, and it was a very quiet crowd. Quiet crowds are a little harder to perform for, right?
Yeah,
it's harder to get up for a quiet crowd.
Yep.
But as I looked out, I saw this one young lady and she had a smile from ear to ear. Wasn't saying anything, but she was loving every minute of it, and I thought, hey, I'm going to have fun because she's loving it.
Absolutely. I think, first of all, I got to say this. We've been going live long before going live was cool. And now YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, they all have these live functions, right? Where you can turn on the camera and you can go live. And I do think that's neat. It's a neat interaction. But how our shows differ from that is we see the faces. We see a live interaction with people right in front of us.
There's a crowd right there.
So we see the smiles, we see the claps. It's just a really cool interaction. So that's what I enjoy about live shows.
What's the hardest part about performing live to you, Steve?
Not getting mad.
Not getting mad. At what?
At your lack of hitting shots at times. Both you and I know we want to go out there, we want to hit every single shot.
Yep.
How often does that happen?
Never had a perfect show yet.
We have never had a perfect show. 8 years.
I've been close twice, though. Just putting that out.
But what's so interesting is that you may miss a shot. You never know what you're going to miss.
Right.
Sometimes you do struggle with the hardest shots, which are multiples.
Multiples. Yep.
Which when we start shooting 6, 7, and more clays like that, that's when it gets real difficult in a live show. Wind is a factor, but just kind of burying that and saying, you know what, I don't need to be upset, I need to find good jokes.
So would you kind of say the mental aspect of performing in front of a live audience, so you stay upbeat, so you stay focused, is kind of the hardest part?
Right, right. To remove yourself, I think that's well put, actually. But you know, I've been encouraged over the years. Our very first show, which was horrid. I mean, can I say that? Can I be blunt? It was horrid, our very first show. Compared to today's standard, my father-in-law came up and he said, that was amazing, guys. The best part is when you would miss, or when Aaron would miss, and Steve, you'd have something funny to say about it. When you guys went back and forth.
Well, that was all operator. I'm not blaming anyone but me on that.
I don't even know what to say about that, but we will move on to 6 play targets. So when we first got started, a big part of what we wanted to do was have an impact on the youth and the next generation. How have you seen our live show has been an avenue or a conduit for that, and how have you seen that change over the years, if any?
Well, in those first few years, you know, there wasn't a lot of feedback. Of course, we weren't doing as many shows. Every year we've kind of upped the amount of shows that we do. But now, every year, multiple times a year, we are hearing about how we've made a difference in this person's life, or even some of the shooting tips videos that we've done for YouTube.
I think it's actually a humbling fact for both of us to hear the stories and hear how, you know, seeing a live show impact them, or even a video. I remember a story about a guy down in St. Louis that came to us after seeing a show a few years prior. He came back and said, you know, I saw you a couple years ago, and I'd kind of fallen out of hunting. Now me and my boys, we started hunting together and shooting together, and that's all we do. You know, that's a big part of what we do, so thank you for inspiring us. And to me, that's humbling, and I think Aaron and I, as the years have went on, have seen with a greater magnitude our responsibility with the platform we've been given to not take it and just make it all about us for our gain, but to use it to encourage, to inspire, and to motivate the next generation, and frankly, just everybody. Not just for the shooting sports, not just for firearm safety, but for living a life of purpose, which we're big proponents of, living a healthy life, and shooting for your dreams.
That's right.
Well, here we are 8 years later. We're still performing the live shows, but we do way more videos than we ever have, releasing one every other Friday at this point. And but you know, I love the live shows, and I hope they continue for a long time to come.
I sure hope so.
Well, guys, if you haven't been to a live show, what are you waiting for? They need to come check one out.
Absolutely.
Where do they go to do that?
GouldBrothers.com. Schedule's right up there.
Check the schedule out there. In the meantime, make sure you subscribe to our channel and watch our latest video by clicking right over here.
And remember, it's impossible to hit the shots you never take.
So pull that trigger and shoot for your dreams.
Sure glad we did.